Hello, you may know me as DJ, you may know me as G1, you may also think my name is Speed Racer because the way that I be rolling around the campus as a speed racer. I am a cinema studies major and screenwriting minor. This documentary will show you disabilities matters behind the camera and also in front of the camera.
My disability is cerebral palsy. When I was younger, I didn't really think about it because I think that, when you're a kid, you as a kid don't think about it, and then other kids don't really think about it that way. Um, and I've always gone to a school with not many disabled people, so I didn't have really anything to relate to in people. I never was really confronted about it until I got older, but as I got older and mobility was much more of a thing, going across New York City because I grew up in Brooklyn, or hanging out with friends became more difficult because of accessibility barriers. Then it started to kind of, I would say, affect my mindset, for lack of a better word. But I think I've been able to deal with it with being surrounded by understanding friends and having aides that can help me get from point A to point B.
I've been a doctor since 1964. I was graduated from Bologna, Italy, who is the oldest university in the world. And I came to this country 52 years ago, where I completed all my study in the specialty of radiology and pediatric rehabilitation. One of my teachers was a pediatric rehabilitation doctor, and she had a fellowship. So when I finished my specialty study, I decided to go and do a fellowship for an extra 2 years to work with children. This was 40 years ago. I run a center of rehabilitation, so I get a lot of children referred to the center. We usually have children refer 400-500 children a year, and they all need some kind of a service. At this moment, we have 4,000 children that we are following, and I saw most of them.
My disability for short is SED, but it is the long word for it is spondyloepiphyseal dysplasia. Growing up with my disability was a little challenging, I would say, during years of maybe middle school and elementary school. As a really adolescent, kindergarten and stuff, I didn't even realize I had a disability, to be honest. But then as I became more conscious of my body and my surroundings, I knew that, I was at a disadvantage per se, so.
How did you feel when you found out you were pregnant?
I was very excited. The best thing, that's a blessing. That's a blessing to me, what I was carrying. It was very fine until it got close to, the end, almost getting close to me about to have my son.
How did you feel when DJ was born and held him for the first time?
I felt very upset. I felt very mad. I blamed myself. I thought it was my fault. But at the end of the day, I just kept looking at his beautiful, handsome face because he was the love of my life. He's my second born.
My family has been super supportive. They've always pushed me to kind of not let it define me. I think a lot of times people with disabilities kind of go, well, I have a disability, so I'm forced to live at, or be in general in a lower standard than everybody else. So I think that them being like, yes, you have this disability, but you could still do all these things that everybody else does, kind of always pushed me and supported me and helped me become the person I am, I feel. I feel like what the things I've been like discriminated against is like systems. So let's say like schools and like uh, job places. Like when I was trying to find an internship, it was hard because they didn't want to kind of like go the extra mile to help me help them. The hardest thing in a college setting is because all of Purchase colleges dorms aren't really accessible. I could get on the first floor of most dorm buildings just fine, but once it gets more complicated to like the second floor of, let's say, Big House or Crossroads or something like that, let's say I want to go visit a friend up there, it's a little difficult. And it's kind of hard when we're having a good time, we're having a good conversation, and suddenly we go back to their dorms and it's kind of like, oh, this is where it ends. It's kind of this weird, abrupt kind of like, boom. And it makes kind of continuous interaction with my fellow students a little difficult.
My family has supported me a great deal. My parents always preach to me that nothing is impossible and that I can do anything I put my mind to, and if I just work hard and put my mind to whatever I want and learn everything I can about it, that I will achieve it. I went to an elementary school, and at one point during 4th grade, I believe, my disability started to progress, and I required a wheelchair, but the school needed to accommodate me in ways that they weren't accepting and they didn't want to, so that's why I ended up leaving that school and starting another one. When I'm trying to go to the Performing Arts Center, the road and the sidewalk in that region is horrible. There's potholes everywhere and cracks, and the curb cuts are like really uneven, and as a wheelchair user, that's definitely a big problem. So that is definitely a big one for me that I'm trying to resolve.
Arthrogryposis is a congenital disease. Children are born with atrophic muscle, a contracture of a bone. Can be at different level, can be just 1 foot, or can be all 4 limbs, or can be the trunk. There is the diverse level. Unfortunately, not that I know, there's no cure. But with the aggressivity of the orthopedic today, they have a new technology to operate children early and make them possible to realign bones and make them able to be more functional, while we be reaching, while we be walking, while we be standing.
After I gave birth to my son, that's when the doctor told me that the cord was wrapped around his neck as well as his legs. I don't know if it was one leg or legs, but I'm going to say legs. And then they told me that they had to rehesitate him, if I'm saying the word right, basically to bring him back to life. That's what they had to do. And I said, what do you mean by that? And then that's when they said, well, when we know more, we'll come back and we'll explain more to you. So then they just took him away, put him in a little warmer, and then started doing what they need to do to bring him back to life for me.
Do any of his siblings have a disability?
No, they do not have any disability. All of them is all fine. they're all healthy, just like DJ's healthy as well. It's just that he just has a physical disability. At the hospital where he was born at was number one when I had him, and they realized that he has a fractured femur and a broken leg. Then that's when they told me that they're gonna for me to do our hugs and kisses, me and my mom and his father, and that he was going to the medical center. So after they flew him in the helicopter to the medical center, I got myself together, got him there, and then to find out that he also has little weights on his feet and that he got club foot. So I asked all my questions. The nurses said, oh, the doctor's gonna come, she's gonna explain, but she didn't explain it properly. She just basically explained to me and my mother that DJ, when I named him, which his name is D1, they told me and my mother that he was not going to add up to nothing, he's not going to be nothing. And that was a hard thing for me as a single parent, to raise a kid with a disability, to understand all of that. And I got overwhelmed very quickly and felt all alone, even if I did have my mom to help me to raise him, because his father abandoned me with him. Once that he seen how DJ was, he just left, never came back. So I had to call all these people with all the paperwork when DJ got discharged finally and placed into a body cast. So I just had to learn. I just had to put on the mother hat and just roll with it. Basically, the only obstacle that it was is that he had he went to St. Agnes. I got, like I said, the paperwork. They point me in the right direction. He went to St. Agnes. I had to learn, you know, about DJ, to know his disability, to know what the outcome is going to be, to know that is he going to ever walk or ever learn like all the other children's, or you know, to be what he wants to be, even if I am thinking ahead, but that's just how my mind races. But yeah, it was a hard obstacle because my first son, there's nothing wrong with him, but me to have my middle son and to find out there's something wrong with him, it bothered me because I didn't know how to deal with him, didn't know how to explain to him. Excuse me. I couldn't explain to him when he started talking why he crawls if he's not a baby. So it was just hard, but I had a lot of support from St. Agnes and really not too much from my family, because my family passed away, was my big supporter, which was my mother.
I think in terms of faculty, they need kind of better communications with their students with disabilities in general, not just physical, because a lot of the times it's like, this is what we offer, this is what we can do for you, and when people with disabilities need something slightly different, or they have to think outside the box, it's a little difficult for them to do that. So I think a more personalized plan for people with disabilities in general on how to tackle certain issues on campus, whether that be getting into certain buildings, or, which I would say takes a less of a personalized approach than, let's say, academic things, or like, let's say, a plan for like, if it snows really hard and you can't get to campus but they didn't cancel class, something that can make it so that people with disabilities don't miss class entirely, or if someone has a learning disability and the methods that they have aren't working for them, to think of something, of a way to, you know, make sure that they're still able to get the information somehow, somewhere, and get the education that they're paying for.
One thing this campus can improve on is, I believe, having more conversations with their students, and especially their disabled students. You know, having that conversation and, you know, just the knowledge of each, everybody's side, teach this disabled community of the processes that need to be taken and the steps that need to be taken to resolve these accessibility issues.
How would you describe DJ's personality?
Well, he don't got minds for starters. That's for starters. There's not a. He's just like my mother, very humble, very gullible to a certain degree, honest, kind, smart. To me, I consider him a genius, even if I know that, if you go by numbers, he's not a genius, but in my heart, he's a genius. He's my genius.
At this moment, I think it's around age 2, but maybe earlier. And he was always very cute and very active, a little boy. And if I figure age 2 is 23 years old, then I know him.
What advice would you give other mothers who have children with disabilities?
Well, basically, it's to follow your heart. Always get more than one opinion, which that's what I should have did when me and my mother talked to that orthopedic. We was just so gullible, just going with the flow and thinking that, just because she, the doctor that referred me to her, she got these many stars, she's the best orthopedic, in Westchester County. You're not gonna find no other. But basically, always get a second, even if you gotta get 2, 3, 4 opinions. Always get more than one opinion, and follow your heart. A mother knows her instincts about her children or her child that is disabled. Follow your heart. In my case, I never once thought of giving DJ up or giving him away. I just dealt with it. When my mother passed away, I just had to get strong, get out of that funk. Okay, Mona, you cried, she passed away. 4 days before DJ turned a year old, and I just had to do what I have to do for him. I'm all he had was me and his older brother.
It is unfortunate that sometimes I have to tell them what's going on with their child, because they saw lots of doctors prior me, but nobody came down and told them exactly what the child has or what the child can do. And most of the time they were already being told a horrible thing. Your child is not going to do this, is not going to do that. And parents, when it come to me, they hope that I can help them. I'm the last on the list. And when they come to me, I can reassure them that most of their children, they may not be perfect, but they can be functional and live a fairly normal life. Many parents are very happy to hear that. And the first question that they ask me really is my child going to walk? Now, my theory is any child can walk. Very few are really unable to walk. And depends how you define walk. For a doctor, walking will be a walk outside 3 miles, go walk in the mall. I define walk as be able to stand and move around your house, or walk a little bit with your friend, and with crutches, with braces, that's still walking and still functional. And parents are very happy to hear that.
What has DJ done that you are most proud of?
Number one, that his hands got stronger. I wish he would walk a little more and not be fear of walking, because we're not going to let him fall. I haven't yet. I refuse. Before he fall, I'd rather him to fall on me. And DJ done graduated from high school with honors. DJ done graduate from college with good grades and basically honor. Now he's in his secondary college. Who ever think that? It's like my mind is just blown like, it just exploded.
The one Jontai Encarnacion.
Upon the authority vested in me by the Chancellor and the Board of Trustees of the State University of New York, I hereby confer upon you the degrees which you have earned and to which you are entitled. Congratulations, you are now Purchase College graduates and alumni.